Hi, are you tired of seeing this makeup? Good, because I'm tired of wearing it. Let's take it off. So, hello. I hope you guys are all doing well. This is the Get Unready with me. So we're going to take our makeup off. And I wanted to talk about, I had one of my subscribers post a comment on one of my videos that she graduated with her bachelor's and she's looking at grad school and to like kind of share my educational journey in that kind of thing. And I thought that was cool. And I'm going to talk about that while I get unready. So I have a lot of makeup on. Specifically on the eyes, I have so much shadow. This was a cut crease concealer. We got glitter. We got lashes. We got all that. So, I don't know if you guys seen my removal routine. It's not pretty. It's not. It's not. But we're gonna do what it do. Okay, just getting out my items. So, hello. First thing I'm going to do is take my contacts out. Because this is going to be real here. So, hi. If you don't know me that well, okay. My name is Candice. I have been doing YouTube for about 11 years. 10 years. Almost 11 years. But YouTube is not my full-time job. It never has been. Never been sponsored. None of those games here. So, like you all, I have to work. I have full-time jobs and, well, a full-time job, and I'm working on an educational journey. And so, a lot of you guys know that, but I'll just share my educational background with you all. So, I'm going to be all up in my own face here because I don't have my glasses on. The first thing I'm going to do is, even though the eye is the project, I am going to take off my lip. With a little bit. I'm using some reusable wipes and reusable remover pads, so we got a lot going on. Alright, so the current degrees I hold are an Associates of Science in Biology, a Bachelor's of Science in Laboratory Management with a minor in microbiology. Okay? And a Master's of Science in Educational Learning Design and Technology. The Master's of Science is in Education, and then that's how it goes. I'm not so much going to talk about my fields I picked. I don't think that was the advice. I guess this is hard to do while I'm taking off my lip product. That is long wearing. I'm using a combination of cleansing balm. This is my favorite cleansing balm by Clean It Zero. I might have to use a little bit of oil from MAC, and some micellar water, but we're getting there. Hold on. And this is good for exfoliating your lips too. So I'm trying to get off some dead skin. Okay. I've always loved school. Quick background. Always been kind of a straight A student. Loved school. I've been independent. Just enjoying school and enjoying learning. Always have been. I call myself a professional student. My journey was not without hiccups. My journey was not without bumps and dumps in the road. So yeah. Graduated high school. Like I said, elementary, middle school. Ooh, these lashes are on, baby. I remember I used a lot of glue. Alright, so let me get a little bit of oil. I'm going to get some matte cleanse off oil on a Q-tip. Because these lashes are stuck, baby. Yeah, middle school, high school, I got good grades. And then like college, I went straight to a four-year university after college. After high school. that semester. I went straight there, and I'll be honest, I kind of got sucked into the college life. Oh my God, being independent, living on campus. I wasn't far from home actually, but it still was like, wow, you know, I didn't do as well as I should have. And there was a lot of pressure. I chose biology as my major, but there was a lot of pressure. It was just, it was a wake up call. Like, you can be a straight A, you can do well in, I'm picking the glue off my lashes while I talk. You can do really well in, it's nothing like they tell you. It's nothing. You have to choose the paths you're going to take. So anyway, I went to a 4-year. It did not work. I left it after my first year. I didn't do well academically. I was like, this is, you know, you get discouraged. So I took a year off. I worked full time. I got a job immediately. I got a full-time job immediately. I worked full time, and I'm gonna be honest, I was miserable. All my friends were still in school, still in college, living, thriving, and I was like, I love school. I had dreams of, I just knew I was going to be a doctor, like a PhD. And I was just like, I gotta go back to school. So after that 1 year of working, I was annoyed, and I signed up for my local community college. And I went through some emotional things because all my friends are in 4-year universities, and I'm like, oh, in 2.5 years, I'll only have an associate's. But then I was like, well, in 2.5 years, hopefully if I don't die, I'll be living in 2.5 years, so I might as well be living with an associate's. So, sorry, this glue on this lash is bothering me. Maybe these lashes need to go in the trash because that is annoying. So anyway, did that. While it took me 2.5 years so to get my associates. Go at your own pace. I did very well in community college. I thrived there. I did very well. I got back focused. I found a mentor. I had a lovely mentor, and she helped me fall in love with the lab. I knew I loved science, but I got a work-study job. I got a work-study job working in the biology department, working in the labs and setting them up and helping plan the labs. And oh, I fell in love with the laboratory element of learning and that experimental learning. I fell in love with it. And so while I was in, you know, my associate's program, I knew I wanted to continue to my 4-year. I knew I wanted to do that, trying to figure out a major. Did I want to continue to do biology? I love science. Did I want to continue to do it though? I was like, I don't know. And the school I went to, ooh, that felt good. I didn't need any oil for that one. Had a degree, had a major of laboratory management. And I was like, this is it. And so I minored in biology instead of majoring in it. And I was like, this is it. This is it. I did my bachelor's mostly online at the University of Maryland. I did my bachelor's mostly online. And I did that once I got my associates. Once I got my associates, I actually started teaching that. I taught at a technical school. Because at the time with the technical schools, instead of like a regular 4-year, 2-year college, at a regular 4-year, 2-year college, in order to teach, you need a degree higher than what the program is. But at these technical schools, you're not leaving with a degree, you're leaving with a sort of certification. So me having a 2-year degree was enough to get me in the door. And I was just teaching general education classes, computer courses and things like that. Things that I had far more experience in outside of my educational, I just, you know, knew or whatever. And they gave me a chance. They gave me a chance, and I'm so grateful for the umbrella of schools that I worked for. It gave me a chance. And while I was in school, while I was working as a teacher, I got my bachelor's. And in that bachelor's program, part of it, to finish it, part of it was you had to do some sort of intern, extern thing. And I wound up getting a job where I work now, but in the lab. I wound up getting a job as a scientist, as a food scientist. And that was really cool. And that counted. I got a job, and you know, left teaching full time. I was still teaching like part time in the evenings, but did that, whatever, got my bachelor's. And so get my bachelor's, and while I was teaching, I had to make a lot of my own content. I had to make a lot of my own content. I had to make a lot of my own like games and things for students to learn from that worked. And my fellow colleagues was like, oh, that's cool. You made that, make me one, blah, blah, blah. And I fell in love with creating the content that people learn from, because I'll be honest, I was teaching, I was young. I was like 25 when I started teaching. Most of my students were older than me, going back to school, getting these certifications, different things like that. And I found ways to reach out to them, and I found ways to connect with them. It was very intimidating. And I was the youngest teacher on the staff, and I felt like I had to prove myself, but I was also just like taking it in, looking at it from a younger perspective. And I just fell in love with that part. And I was like, well, I think I want to continue in education. I don't know if I always want to be in a classroom. I was really good at it, but I didn't know if that's what I wanted to do. And in 2015, I'm lying, 2018. Yeah, 2018, I think it was 2018. Shit, I don't remember the years, but I went ahead and, yeah, I think it was 2018, 17, 18. I went ahead and started my master's program, and I chose learning design and technology. And that's exactly what I was already doing. That is studying and understanding and creating content for those to learn online, for the technical, using the technological advances and innovations in education. And creating online content. It was really nice. And I graduated with my master's in 2020. May 2020. Peak COVID, where everything shut down and everybody went online. I was in demand. That's all I'm gonna say. Instructional designers were in demand. I worked for a lot of organizations. I did like small projects. I did small projects for certain companies. And like creating online content, creating small things, creating different things. And it was just wonderful. Like, I'm not saying, you know, COVID sucked, but COVID was one of the best things that happened to me picking that major. I didn't know that it was going to be in that demand. I didn't know. And it was really nice. Shifting to teaching online, it helped me tremendously. I helped, like, my school at the time wasn't an online school. It wasn't hybrid. It wasn't anything. And they were like building, you know, these things from scratch. And I was able to adapt and teach online. You know, I was helping my other colleagues because I'm like, you know, you got to utilize these digital tools now. We're not in front of them. So that was wonderful. I loved that program. And I knew I wanted, at that point, I think it solidified. I knew I always wanted to be a doctor. I always wanted to have a PhD, because like that's like the boss level. I'm a professional student. I always want to go for the top. I knew I wanted to, but I didn't just know what I don't know. And when I fell in love with that educational design, that technology piece, when I was working on my master's, that kind of solidified it. And I was looking for doctoral programs, and I found one in educational technology and design, which is related. It was so great, because even when I was applying, doing everything for the PhD program, and like even like looking at my master's program, I had classes that I took that transferred to the doctoral level. So I went into my doctoral program with credits, which is rare. I was so blessed. So that's kind of my journey. And right now I'm at the halfway point, probably-ish, coming up-ish, of my PhD. I'm working on a PhD in education. It won't be an ED. It will be a PhD in education. Those are two different ones, two different doctorates. And it'll be in educational design and technology. It's hard. It's the most challenging thing I've ever taken on. I took the summer off. I took 2 semesters off because I needed it. I barely made it through one of my semesters. I did it. I made it through. But I barely did. And I was working multiple jobs, still working multiple jobs in the pandemic's kind of over, but like everyone's hybrid, remote, trying to be, it was a lot for me. I was moving at that time, and I have high anxiety. You guys know this, I suffer from it. And I was like, I need to slow down and take a break before I fail out of this. And I managed to squeak that class by. I literally shut my laptop the day everything was due, and I put it in God's hands. I was like, let's hope. Didn't think about it for the whole summer. I was like, I can't. I knew I did fine, but then of course it confirmed when I actually had to log back in to let them know I'm coming back. And it was fine. GPA is fine. So it was just like, yeah, it was one of those, but currently working on a PhD. So in terms of just my advice, in terms of things I went through, I'll be honest with you. I had a few scholarships back undergrad, a couple, like semester. I paid for my college mostly on student loans and a little bit out of pocket. I'll be completely honest with you. I have student loans and they are not pretty. And I'm all for student loan forgiveness. Don't fight me, fight your mama. I'm all for it, even if I wasn't in the position that I am now. Like, it's college loans are a scam. I'll be honest with you. It is what it is. It's the reality of what we live in. But I chose to do this PhD, and I'll tell you this, with PhDs, a lot of times at that level, you can get a sponsor. Most PhDs, you should not have to pay for your PhD. I'm talking about like undergrad level, student loans and things, but like you shouldn't be paying for your PhD for the most part. I pay a little for mine. That's all I'll say right now. I'll pay a little for mine, but you should get sponsors and different things and jobs. Depending on what the field is in, jobs will pay you a stipend that whole year to do your research, to do all that. So it's a little bit weirder at the PhD level. But in terms of, like I was talking about student loans and things, if you are going to school, I'm not having taken even any makeup off because we're getting into this. I'm going to use some tape to pull off all this glitter and flakes off my eyes. If you're going into a higher degree, I get there are various reasons. There are various reasons why people want to advance their, like, increase their earning potential. I get it, because more and more, you know, jobs don't want to pay you more, but they want 12,000 years experience and a doctorate to get you an entry-level position. I get it. Make sure you're going to school for you. Make sure it's something you want and something you're willing to put the work in for. I love school. School comes, I will be honest, learning comes easy to me. Not a lot of people know how to learn. Yes, you have to learn how to learn. Know your learning styles. You have to do all that. Be willing to commit to it. And I don't mean not fail. It's okay if you fail. It's okay if you have to take a class over. It's okay if you have to try again. But be willing to put in the effort. In terms of, look for every scholarship you can. There are plenty of websites that like mass. You can mass apply for different things. But look for that help every way you can before you have to take out a loan. There's no shame in it. But make sure you take out, you know, you do that responsibly. I'm not an expert on it, but... So I got most of the glitter and stuff off, so now I can go ahead and use some cleansing balm and break this stuff down. So yeah, make sure you do that. Make sure you are responsible with it, but make sure you are doing this because you want to, okay? The commenter says she finished her bachelor's and she wants to continue for her master's, and I think that's wonderful. I will say one of my biggest and most advice, if you take anything, if you anything, don't stop. If you just finished your bachelor's and you want to do your master's, keep going. I took that year. Okay, I took that year off when I was 19, you know, after my first year, and it just didn't work out for me, figuring out what I wanted to do. But when I decided I wanted to go back to school and I wanted to go all the way up to the doctoral level, I have the longest break I've taken. This summer was what, like 3 months. The longest break I've taken was 6 months between my master's and starting my PhD. I took 6 months because we were in a pandemic and I was like, all right, let me make sure I got it together. That was it. That was it. I took this summer, what, 2-3 months? But like, do not stop. Keep going. It's so much harder to, this cleansing balm is so messy, but it works so well. If you can, you know, financially afford it or you got your plan, don't stop. Keep going. I know it might seem like, oh my God, but keep going. It's so much easier to just keep going than it is. Now, if you need that break, mental health wise, yeah, take your break. Your mental health is top. Take that break. But if you're good and you're just like, maybe I'll fit. No. No. Do not let up. Don't let up. Keep going. Again, apply for as many things as you can. I will also say this. Do not stress out about a GPA. You do what you need to do to maintain that GPA because you want to keep your scholarships. You want to keep your, I'm going to be honest, there are very, very, very few fields that you are going into where they care about your GPA. Trust me, there are very few. And those that do care, you know them. You'll know them if you're a part of that, if you're trying to get there. But We used to say even a C will get the degree. Aim high, but do not get discouraged. I was a straight A student. And some classes I took were so hard, and I was so stressed and so worried about doing my best. And I was like, you know what? You know what? A B is okay. A C is okay. You cannot, it's impossible to give 110% in every single thing you have going on. It's impossible. You're going to go crazy. Trust me. I worked on 2 degrees, well, 3 degrees technically, while working at the same time. Listen, pick your battles. Pick your battles. Everything don't have to be an A+. I was a teacher and a student at the same time. I had empathy for my students. My students would tell me all the time before they realized. They were like, you don't know what it's like working and going to school. Because I taught kind of the evening classes and different. I was like, baby, when I clock out of here, I do homework too. I'm working on a degree as well. I know what it's like. And they were like, oh, you are? I was like, yeah, like everything. It's okay if you don't put 110%. It's okay if there's a class where you just, it's a elective and you need it. It's okay. It's okay. It's also okay to be an overachiever. If you want that 4.0, if you want it, it's okay. That's completely fine. I'm not discouraging you from doing your best. But I am encouraging you to control your stress and not allow things that aren't necessary to stress you out. Okay? It's hard, but I'm not saying that in a way of discouraging you. I'm saying it in a way, it's hard, but you can do it. So pick the things that you have to put the most effort in and put it into there. If you are not requiring, if it doesn't require that much effort, don't overdo it. Please don't. I used to be an overachiever in everything. And honestly, I was in the same classes as the people who got the C and B, who didn't stress out every night about it and just did what they needed to do and was okay with, you know, yeah, that's my advice. I also, ow, almost ripped my nose ring out. Also, having support. If you have support, it'll be a lot easier. You know, I know all of our families and some friends and support circles and things look different. I know that. So I'll try to address a few different situations, but if you have the support of your family, your spouse, your partner, your friends, let them know what's going on. Hey, I got this paper due. We ain't going out. I can't go. Be upfront. Okay? Don't feel as though you still got to maintain that social life. You still got to maintain. You can find a happy balance. Don't get me wrong. We all got to step away from the computer, step away from the books. But you can set those boundaries with your friends and family. And if you have that good support system, they will know. They will also know to check in on you. She did say that project. Let me check, make sure this girl ain't stressed up. You know, let people know what's going on with you, you know, so you can feel that support. And then if you feel like you don't have anyone, there are so many online friends. There's so many digital, you know, Discords, subreddits, YouTube channels. Turn on a YouTube channel of someone that's studying as well. Oh my God. There are YouTube channels of people just studying with the background music on and they're just studying, taking notes. And it's so relaxing. Turn one of those on and you got a digital friend that you're studying with. You got, you know, don't forget to step away, like I said. But reach out to your advisors. They are really there to help you. The mentors, any sort of support programs, any sort of peer programs. Definitely, here we go. Definitely take advantage of those. I need to wash my face before I put my skincare on, but let me wrap this video up. So I got all the makeup off. I used a combination of my balm. I like to get all my makeup off before I even wash my face. Like, I like my makeup wipe to look clean before I even wash my face. And then put my skincare on. But yeah, so get that support. Reach out if you need help. Those tutoring sessions, any free programs, those peer, like the writing centers that the schools have, and like checking on your work and things like that. Take advantage of all the services. Do not be too prideful. If you are confused, reach out to help. Reach out to your teachers. I take it from me. I was an instructor. Take it from me. Reach out. You're not annoying us. Reach out for help. Okay? I was very, very like prideful in asking for help in school. and always want to just handle it on my own. And then actually when I started teaching, I was like, oh yeah, I probably should ask my professor. I'm encouraging my students to ask me for help, and look at me. So yeah, that kind of mindset, you know, have an open mind. And it's okay if you fail a class. Most colleges allow you to repeat a class like 2 times. Like, it's okay. You got to pay for it. But it's okay. It's okay if you fail. I failed classes before. And I'm still here. I failed classes before. I failed a class at the PhD level. This last class that I took, that I was like, I'm stressed out, I got to take a break, was the second time me taking a class. And that's why I was like, I got to pass. Yeah. And I'm back. My GPA is a 3 point something something. I don't know. It's over 3. And it's okay. It's at the PhD level. It's okay. It's completely okay. Do not feel like you have to, yeah. And do it for you. You're going back to school. College is expensive. We ain't getting things completely free no time soon. So make sure you're doing it for you. Make sure, or tuition reimbursement. Take advantage of those programs. Don't forget, at work and different things like that. So that's a blessing as well. And I will say, if you don't want to go back to school because you don't want to pay for it, but your job will pay for it, you better go and get that damn degree. Get it in something that you ain't paying for it. Do it. So yeah, like, make sure, you know, your head's in the right space. Make sure you have a support system, or you have a plan to ease your mind, to reduce your stress, you know, whatever that is. Meditate, wherever that is. Take your mornings, get your schedule together. Have that time for you to de-stress, or like that study time. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb, block it out. Have that. You need that. Don't try to just fit it in when you can, because that will suck. Even if it's an hour a day, hour or 2, it doesn't have to be, you might not have time for those long study sessions. Also, you don't have to take on a full load. Even if your college is, you're free. Even if, you know, you're not paying for it. Why take on all those classes at the same time? Take your time. Take your time, okay? Look at my makeup wipe. This is how I like my makeup wipe to look. Clean before I even go wash my face. So take your time. You don't have to take all those classes at one time. You know, do what you can. I'm currently taking, I have the option of taking 1 or 2 at a time right now. And I think I did 1. I did 1, 2, 1, 2, kind of like that. But like, yeah. Do your best. I don't know if this was the advice you were looking for. I don't really know. But I figured I'd talk about it. I love school. I do. I'm getting this PhD for me. I hope I finish it. A lot of people don't finish their PhD. I'm not speaking that into existence, but if I fail, it's okay. I tried. It's okay. I'm not claiming that. But at that level, it's tough. And if I succeed in a few years, y'all will know. So, yeah. I wish you all the best. Do well. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. Okay? We'll be studying together. My classes start back up in a few weeks. I don't know if I'm going to do 1 or 2, but they start back up in a few weeks in November. And I'll be in the same boat as all of you that are taking these classes that are on this grind. Because guess what? We will do a graduation glam. We will walk across a stage. Okay? See you guys in the next one. I love you. Bye.